had been answered. Shu Yun became even more curious about Xiang Tian. She never expected that such complicated troubles had befallen him. Yuan Zhen gritted his teeth in indignation. He said to him, "Rebellious son." This rebellious son actually severed ties with the city lord's mansion first. He pointed his 5 fingers at Xiang Tian's face. "On what grounds? What right do you have? I think you're tired of living." Now, Xiang Tian no longer showed any respect. He said deliberately, "Isn't this the result you wanted? It's just that I said it first. Li Yuan Zhen, I advise you to be a person with at least some conscience. Otherwise, the Li family will be reduced to ashes because of you." The more Xiang Tian spoke, the angrier Yuan Zhen became. He ordered his soldiers to seize Xiang Tian. Yang Yao strode forward aggressively. He wanted to deal with Xiang Tian himself. He rushed forward, seething with killing intent. Xiang Tian was not the type to be easily bullied. He raised his sword, blocking a strike from Yang Yao. Yet Xiang Tian was pushed back by him. With a triumphant look on his face, Yang Yao wanted to know how Xiang Tian felt now. "How powerful is my subduing dragon claw?" This is a 3rd-tier martial skill, an incredibly powerful martial art, even among the 10 great imperial mansions. He chattered on, showing off his might to Xiang Tian, doing his best to look down on him. In his mind, Xiang Tian had now lost his bloodline spirit beast. Not only was it taken away, but he had also wasted 3 years. He really wanted to see what Xiang Tian would use to fight him. He suggested that Xiang Tian should come forward and confess his guilt to him and his father, and he would let him die a decent death. Otherwise, he would use the dragon claw to tear him to shreds. Xiang Tian couldn't care less. He also really wanted to know how powerful the subduing dragon claw was. He actively rushed towards Yang Yao. Yang Yao was excited and wanted to charge forward. But when Xiang Tian released just a slight stream of qi from his palm, Yang Yao's expression changed. He looked at his own palm, not understanding what was happening, why he felt his subduing dragon claw had been suppressed, and he couldn't even use it. Xiang Tian's qi transformed into a palm, squeezing Yang Yao tightly, causing him immense pain. Yuan Zhen could no longer stand by. He hurriedly drew his sword, wanting to rush up and rescue his son. Shu Yun stepped forward and said a few words to him. "City Lord Li, this is a fair fight. The outcome is not yet certain. It's better to wait and see." Seeing his action, Xiao Tao also found it extremely displeasing. She said to him unhappily, "Old man, I'm watching with great excitement. Don't spoil my fun." At this moment, Xiao Tao suddenly saw Xiang Tian in a different light. She was extremely curious, wondering what cultivation level Xiang Tian had reached. She feared it was already the 5th or 6th level, or perhaps even the hard-to-find 7th level in the world. He threw Yang Yao to the ground, causing him to vomit blood. He struggled to his feet, wanting to know what technique Xiang Tian had just used. This time, it was Xiang Tian's turn to provoke him. He was not worthy to know this kind of technique. The technique Xiang Tian had just used was called a technique of the Spirit Continent. It was divided into levels from 1 to 9, but there were 4 legendary levels that most people didn't know about: Earth Grade, Heaven Grade, God Grade, and Supreme Grade. The Demon God Claw set that Xiang Tian had just used was the highest level ultimate skill in the Claw technique lineage. Once executed, it could suppress any similar martial art encountered. Therefore, even using just a little bit of the Heavenly Demon Claw skill was enough to successfully suppress Liang Yao. Xiang Tian just felt it was a pity that he couldn't use it a second time in a short period due to the excessive consumption of spiritual power. Yang Yao was seething with anger. He roared madly, taking out his spirit bloodline to intimidate Xiang Tian. Shu Yun knew at a glance that Yang Yao's bloodline spirit was the 3rd-grade spirit beast, the stormy berserk lion. Isn't this a bloodline spirit beast that only exists in the Situ Imperial Mansion? Yuan Zhen's face was full of pride. He said to her, "That's right, Miss Liu is truly knowledgeable. I spared no expense to buy this stormy berserk lion from the Situ Imperial Mansion. Legend has it that the strongest stormy berserk lion in the Situ Imperial Mansion can reach the 7th grade. A 3rd-grade stormy berserk lion is already very rare. The appearance of this stormy berserk lion made everyone here certain that Xiang Tian was finished this time." Out of respect for Shu Yun, Yuan Zhen temporarily did not interfere in the battle between Xiang Tian and Yang Yao. But with Shu Yun's current attitude towards Xiang Tian, he thought she was being bewitched by Xiang Tian. He began to sow evil things about Xiang Tian into Shu Yun's ear. In reality, he is a useless person. This time he'll surely die. I'm afraid he won't be able to withstand a single blow from the stormy berserk lion. He turned to look at his son and reminded him loudly, "Yaoer, the martial arts Xiang Tian just used consumed a lot of energy. The true qi in his body is now almost depleted. Since he dares to oppose the decision of our city lord's mansion, destroy him completely. No need for mercy." In the middle of the fight, Yang Yao asked Xiang Tian with a provocative face, "Do you know how I got this 3rd-grade stormy berserk lion from the Situ Imperial Mansion?" Then he suddenly burst out laughing, saying as he laughed, "To tell you the truth, before, Father locked you in the Sky Prison. He didn't want to pursue the matter of your stolen bloodline, in order to curry favor with the Situ Imperial Mansion in exchange for it. This was even my idea." Xiang Tian was furious. He never expected these people could be so shameless. To this extent, he declared loudly, since it was obtained by trading me, I will defeat it. Yang Yao looked down on Xiang Tian openly. He really wanted to see what Xiang Tian would do to defeat a third-grade beast. Xiang Tian gathered his chi. He would show Yang Yao what the strongest bloodline was. The little pig was summoned by him. Yang Yao burst out laughing. How could Xiang Tian summon a pig to deal with a stormy berserk lion? Yuan Zhen, standing outside, could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He thought, although this rebellious son has recreated a bloodline spirit beast, just like him, it's also a piece of trash, so I can rest assured. My original decision was correct. Sacrificing Li Xiang Tian in exchange for the favor of the Situ Imperial Mansion. This deal was well worth it. Shuyan was also very worried about Xiang Tian, afraid that he was no match for Yang Yao. Because as far as she knew, the stormy berserk lion was extremely ferocious. Ordinary spirit beasts would be terrified and stupefied by its ferocity before the fight even began. With her sharp eyes, Xiao Tao reassured Shu Yun not to worry. The little pig dared to argue with her, so its strength must be extraordinary. Yang Yao, standing above, continued to look down on Xiang Tian's little pig. The little pig, having just woken up, was fierce and boastful. It said loudly, "All right, stop hovering around stupidly. Are you gonna fight or not?" That big lion, Grandpa asks you, are you male or female? The little pig's words completely shocked Yang Yao. Killing intent began to rise. He couldn't let himself be insulted by a pig. The stormy berserk lion roared and charged forward. The little pig wiggled its butt. Looking at the stormy berserk lion's appearance, it guessed this lion must be female. It decided to accept this lion into its harem. The little pig flew over, leaned to one side, and kicked the lion's chin. The pig stood before the lion and said, "Sweet-smelling sister, why so serious? Let's flirt a little." Yang Yao watched how the pig dodged the attack, and his contempt for Xiang Tian grew. "Li Xiang Tian, this bloodline spirit beast of yours is as trashy as you are. Can it only dodge?" Yang Yao took this opportunity. He also began to attack Xiang Tian. He would cripple his martial arts. Xiang Tian remained extremely calm. It was true that the true qi in his body was insufficient, but he never said he didn't have enough true qi to fight. The corner of Xiang Tian's mouth lifted. He was eagerly waiting for Yang Yao to run over and deliver his life to him. The time was ripe. The distance was close enough. He hit his acupoints with the Tongsu acupoint hitting technique, causing Yang Yao to freeze like a block of ice, unable to move. He was stunned and bewildered, not understanding what kind of bizarre technique Xiang Tian was using. He asked with difficulty, "Li Xiang Tian, where did you learn these things?" Xiang Tian still had the same answer. The name Yang Yao is not worthy to know. Yuan Zhen, standing behind, helped his son. "Yaoer, this is the legendary acupoint hitting technique. You can break it by circulating your true qi." He looked at Xiang Tian with different eyes. He had seen this type of technique in ancient texts before, but it had long been lost. Xiang Tian was clearly locked in the sky prison for 3 years. So how could he have learned such a strange and rare ancient technique? Yang Yao followed his father's words. He circulated his power and successfully broke Xiang Tian's technique. He again pointed at Xiang Tian's face and shouted, "Li Xiang Tian, I want you to die a restless death." Yang Yao was giving Xiang Tian a huge headache. He once again used the Tongsu acupoint hitting technique on him. He said to him, "If you can break it, I can hit it again." Yang Yao's head was on fire, but he couldn't do anything to Xiang Tian. Xiang Tian stood behind him and replied, "Not as shameless as you people from the City Lord's mansion. I'm just learning from your little tricks." Yang Yao kept breaking it, and Xiang Tian kept hitting his acupoints, an endless loop. In the end, the one who vomited blood was Yang Yao, while Xiang Tian remained as calm as ever. Yuan Zhen couldn't bear it anymore. He also spoke up, saying Xiang Tian was going too far. Xiao Tao cheered joyfully. "This technique is interesting, so shameless, so despicable. Xiao Tao wants to learn it too." The proud third-grade lion that Yang Yao spoke of was also defeated by Xiang Tian's little pig. It stomped hard on the lion. With an angry face, it said, "You damn thing. You're a male, and you didn't tell me? Do you know how much hope I had for you? What a waste of my feelings." Yuan Zhen was bewildered and shocked. The truth before his eyes was unbelievable. He never thought a third-grade spirit beast could be defeated by a pig. Those who witnessed this battle truly had their eyes opened. Shu Yin suddenly said to Xiao Tao, "You were right. Brother Xiang Tian's little pig indeed has an extraordinary origin." Xiao Tao, with a very serious face, said to Shu Yun, "My lady, the piglet reflects his character. This pig is too shameless. Therefore, Xiang Tian is not a good person either. You should stay away from him. Otherwise, I'm afraid one day he will really eat you." Shu Yun's face turned red. She reminded Xiao Tao not to talk nonsense, that Xiang Tian was not that kind of person. Xiao Tao sighed and said to her lady, "An innocent young girl is truly easy to deceive. It's a pity that I, Xiao Tao, with all my skills in wooing girls, am a girl myself. Otherwise, pure and beautiful girls like you, my lady, would have long been mine." Xiang Tian spoke down to Yang Yao. He really wanted to hear how Yang Yao would show off his third-grade stormy berserk line now. Yang Yao's eyes filled with tears. He said to Xiang Tian, brother, please spare me. I am your younger brother, of the same flesh and blood. Brother, please spare me. These 4 words, flesh and blood, gave Xiang Tian goosebumps. Didn't he just see him recite the oath? He no longer had any relationship with the City Lord's mansion. However, sparing him was possible, but he had to give him the admission token for the Azure Province Academy, the Azure Dragon token. Yang Yao said no 1,000 times. He couldn't give such an important item to Xiang Tian. Yuan Zhen pointed his 5 fingers at Xiang Tian. He said loudly, Li Xiang Tian, you are very bold. Do you have any conscience left? He is your younger brother, yet you act so cruelly. You even dream of snatching Yao's Azure Dragon token. You want to enter the Azure Province Academy? No way. Xiang Tian showed no brotherly affection. He twisted Yang Yao's arm behind his back, demanded that Nguyen Chan give him the Azure Dragon token. Dang Ju was in so much pain that tears streamed down his face, but he still refused a hand over the Qingzhou token too. Hung Tian. He finally couldn't bear the pain, crying and begging Nguyen Chan to save him. Nguyen Chan had no other choice but to swallow his pride and give the Qingzhou token to Hung Tian. He took the Qingzhou token from Nguyen Chan. Then he deliberately said to him, Alright, I heard a secret cache has appeared on Sanqing Mountain, and a special token is needed to enter. I want a spot. Hung Tian's demand made Nguyen Chan furious. He thought Hung Tian was pushing his luck. He said to him, the Situ Huangfu has countless geniuses on their way here. Hung Tian, you still dare to aim for the secret cache. Aren't you afraid of dying without a burial place? Hung Tian held out his hand towards him. You don't need to worry about those things. You just need to give me the spot. The reason Hung Tian wanted this was because he needed a large amount of spiritual energy to recover from the injuries of the past 3 years. Although the cultivation techniques he practiced were top tier in all the heavens, they consumed a huge amount of energy. Therefore, to prevent any mishaps at the Qingzhou Academy, he had to obtain this secret cache. In another place, Chanchu Cam was in chains, submerged in a stream of water. Nguyen Chan suddenly changed his attitude. If Hung Tian wanted it so badly, he would grant his wish. Then he threw a card to Hung Tian with a very cunning look on his face. This is an iron shard obtained from outside the secret cache. There are 18 shards in total, which means only 18 people can enter. He also told Hung Tian not to disappoint him, but in his mind, he was plotting to kill Hung Tian at the foot of Sanqing Mountain. Sidu Feng said impatiently to Nguyen Chan, City Lord Lai, we have been waiting here for 15 minutes. Where is Lai Hung Tian? Nguyen Chan acted very respectfully towards Tu Feng, assuring him that Hung Tian would come to this place. Tu Kong was also very annoyed. He frowned and said to him, if we didn't know that Hung Tian was previously crippled by the head of the Tu Shui family, who extracted his flood dragon bloodline, and is considered an ant our young master once stepped on, we wouldn't bother playing these games with you, helping you kill an insect. Situ Yun was extremely arrogant, demanding that Nguyen Chan stop wasting their precious time and activate the secret cache. Dang Ju heard their harsh words and became furious, wanting to rush forward and retort, but was stopped by his father. Nguyen Chan lowered his head and said to the Situ group, then please go inside first. Once inside, I'll have to trouble you to kill that rebellious son. Nguyen Chan threw the token up, and the barrier immediately opened. He respectfully said to the Sidu group, this secret cache was accidentally discovered by people from the City Lord's mansion. Although we know how to activate it, we have never entered. The spiritual energy fluctuations inside are very strong. There must be some rare treasure inside. It's very mysterious. You are all young geniuses of the Situ Academy. You still need to pay attention to your safety after entering. Tu Feng took the card, arrogantly telling Nguyen Chan there was no need for more words. Their abilities were not to be underestimated. The Situ group entered the barrier one by one. Right after they left, Dang Ju said irritably, even if they're the young talents of the Situ Huangfu, they're just from a branch family. How can they be so arrogant? The more he spoke, the more indignant he became. We've already offered up the entire secret cache just for them to help us eliminate Hung Tian. I can't believe they look down on us like this. Nguyen Chan raised his hand, signaling Dang Ju to stop. He said to him, right now, Hung Tian has latched onto the Medicine Emperor's most valued disciple, Lu Thursday Van. It's not convenient for us to act ourselves. Now, we can only borrow the help of these people from the Situ Huangfu to eliminate Hung Tian, so that we won't be resented by the Medicine Emperor's lineage. Most importantly, Thursday Van came here this time because I invited her to refine the heavenly fate pill for me, to break through the Kaiyuan realm I've been stuck in for 10 years and enter the heavenly fate realm. So right now, we absolutely cannot offend Thursday. Van! Dang Du understood his words better than anyone, but the important issue now was that Hung Tian still hadn't appeared. Could it be that he didn't dare? Nguyen Chan firmly asserted that Hung Tian would definitely come. An hour later, Hung Tien, along with Thursday Van and Chu Dao, also arrived. Thursday Van told Hung Tien to rest assured. This time, City Lord Lai has a favor to ask of me, and I have an agreement with him. This time in the secret realm, I absolutely won't let him confront you. Hung Tien just felt that Thursday Van was too simple. With his understanding of Nguyen Chan, he wouldn't let him off. Even if he couldn't act himself, he would have made arrangements. Thursday Van was even more worried about Hung Tien. She suggested he go with her, as Nguyen Chan would absolutely not dare to act in front of her. We'll talk about other things later, he said to Thursday Van. Let's go in first. As Hung Tien walked, he thought, I have too many secrets. It's not suitable to be with Thursday Van. It's better if we act separately later. Hung Tien stepped inside the barrier. He secretly observed his surroundings. The little pig appeared again, drooling as it said to Hung Tien, the spiritual energy aura is so dense. I think I smell high-grade heaven origin stones. Cook, hurry up and find them, I want to eat. Hung Tien grabbed the little pig by the scruff of its neck, angrily pointing at his own face and yelling at it. You are my bloodline spirit beast. I am your master. Are you mistaken? Is there any bloodline spirit beast as impudent as you? You act like you're my great-grandmother. Don't I need to save face? The pig didn't care at all. It shook off Hung Tien's arm, completely ignoring his words, and pointed straight ahead, saying, What is face? Can you eat it? Hurry up and search in the direction I'm pointing, or it will all be gone. In front of Hung Tien was a rock containing a heaven origin stone. Hung Tien took it out. He gave one piece to the little pig and held one himself. The little pig ate it with relish, which greatly surprised Hung Tien. He broke into a sweat watching the pig, because heaven origin stones are very hard. Normally, cultivators can absorb them, but he had never heard of anyone being able to eat them directly. He became even more curious, wondering what kind of strange species this pig in front of him was, munching on heaven origin stones as if they were grass. A moment later, Hung Tien also began to absorb the heaven origin stone. Although the little pig ate one of the 2 heaven origin stone pieces, and he only absorbed one, this heaven origin stone was clearly of a high grade. After finishing the absorption, his old injuries from the past 3 years had completely healed, and his cultivation had also recovered to its previous 5th level of the Chi Pulse realm. After absorbing the heaven origin stone, he reminded the little pig not to just play around, but to quickly find more heaven origin stones. The pig's expression immediately changed. Being forced to work while it was having fun. It climbed onto Hung Tien's shoulder and continued to say to him, Cook, you are really too bossy. This divine dragon is clearly a dragon, yet you call me a puppy. The 2 of them bickered back and forth until the little pig saw a heaven origin stone in front of it. It hurriedly jumped off Hung Tien's shoulder and headed straight for the heaven origin stone. Just then, Tu Kong walked over. He demanded that Hung Tien get out of this place immediately. Hung Tien pointed to the heaven origin stone on the rock. He could leave if he wanted, but since he was the one who discovered this heaven origin stone, he would take it with him. Tu Feng slowly walked to the side of the rock. He challenged Hung Tien, if you can take it, then take it. Hung Tien didn't stand on ceremony. He had just reached out his hand to take back what belonged to him, but this Tu Feng was extremely malicious. He deliberately poured his water on the heaven origin stone, making Hung Tien furious. Hung Tien couldn't hold back any longer. If Tu Feng was going to be so arrogant, then he shouldn't be blamed for being heavy-handed. The aura from Hung Tien's body erupted, and he took the initiative to rush towards his opponent. The little pig was also furious. This guy dared to touch its food. Today, it would teach him some manners. Tu Feng summoned his blood spirit beast of his. The bear spread its arms to block Hung Tien's attack. He told the little pig to coordinate with him for a quick victory. The bear was extremely arrogant, preparing to raise its hand to attack Hung Tien. Tu Kang's face was full of pride. He said to Hung Tien, the greatest advantage of this fire burst bear of mine is its strength. You fool, you didn't even dodge. Let's see if you die. The little pig didn't care. It lunged forward, stabbing straight into the bear's neck, causing blood to spurt out. Tu Kong was utterly bewildered. How could something so absurd happen? The little pig arrogantly said to them, Blind bear, now you're just like your name. No need to thank me. Hung Tien also rushed forward. He used the heavenly demon god claw to strike the bear's abdomen, crushing its heart, causing it to collapse on the spot. Tu Kong flew into a rage. He ran forward, vowing to kill Hung Tien. Hung Tien was only interested in the weapon he was holding in his hand. It was indeed a good item. He and the pig continued to coordinate with each other. The pig struck first, kicking Tu Kong in the head, then aimed a blow at his lower region for daring to pour water on its food. Only then did Hung Tien make his move. He started punching him in the face, causing him to fall to the ground while he took his weapon. Even at this moment, Tu Kong was still very stubborn. He challenged Hung Tien, Kid, is this all the skill you have? Then he took out a token and shouted loudly, Second sister, third brother, all my sisters and brothers, sit Tu Feng, sit Tu Yun, come quickly, your little brother is being bullied. Hung Tien looked at him in astonishment. The winner is king, the loser calls his brothers. Truly shameless. Tu Kong looked at Hung Tien defiantly. As long as his siblings arrived, Hung Tien would surely be doomed. Tu Kong had been beaten black and blue by Hung Tien, no longer stronger-looking human, but he was still extremely arrogant. He pointed to the ground, demanding that Hung Tien kneel and apologize. Hung Tien paid him no mind. He drew his sword, preparing to strike and end his life. Tu Kong was utterly panicked, drenched in sweat, tears streaming down his face. A stream of blood flowed out, and Tu Kong lay unconscious on the ground. Tu Kang's underling, who witnessed the whole thing, was in a panic. He said, terrified, "What, you killed Tu Kong?" His body trembled uncontrollably, and he fell to the ground, stammering, "You actually killed brother Situ Kong." Although third brother was the son of a concubine of the Situ Huangfu, he shared the same bloodline as the young master, Situ Shui. Not only that, he also threatened Hung Tien. If Situ Feng and Situ Yin found out about this, they would surely not spare Hung Tien. Hung Tien felt this guy was too talkative, giving him a headache. He threw the sword forward, the tip piercing straight into his chest. Hung Tien frowned and said to him, "Threaten me? You are not worthy." The little pig suddenly became serious. It reminded Hung Tien, "Cook, I can feel a group of people heading this way. Among them are two who are quite strong, at least at the 8th level of the Chi Pulse realm. They are not opponents you can handle. This time, you've poked a hornet's nest." Hung Tien walked over to the corpses of the Situ brothers. He drew a knife, and at the same time, took the tokens from their bodies. In his eyes, everyone from the Situ clan deserved to die. He looked at the card he had just taken and said, "These iron shards can form a key to the secret cache. I'll collect them for now. They might be useful." After that, he and the little pig continued to search for heaven origin stones together. Meanwhile, when the Situ group rushed over, Hung Tien was nowhere to be seen. In front of them now were only the two corpses of their junior brothers. They were all extremely shocked. Tu Feng was furious. He shouted loudly, "Who did this?" Just then, Nguyen Chan and his son stepped into the barrier. They were also extremely shocked to see the two corpses in front of them. He stroked his beard and said to Tu Feng, "Young Master Feng, currently, the only people who have entered the secret cache, besides the members of the Situ Huangfu and the Medicine Emperor's disciple Lu Thursday Van, is that Hung Tien." Tu Yun vaguely guessed his implication. She said agitatedly, "You mean Hung Tien killed them? Didn't you say Hung Tien was just a piece of trash discarded by your City Lord mansion? Where would he get the ability to kill a genius of my Situ?" "Huangfu," Nguyen Chan calmly explained to her. "Miss Yun, there's something you don't know. Although this Hung Tien's cultivation is not high, he has no shortage of dirty tricks. Perhaps he used some underhanded method to kill young Master Situ Kong." The more Tu Feng listened, the angrier he became. The fire in his heart blazed, and he swore he would kill Hung Tien. Then, he would dismember Hung Tien to avenge Tu Kong. Nguyen Chan also revealed another matter to Tu Feng. Hung Tien only had a cultivation at the 5th level of the Chi Pulse realm, while the people from the Situ Huangfu were at least at the 6th level of the Chi Pulse realm, so Hung Tien would surely be torn to pieces. Nguyen Chan looked at Tu Kang's corpse, and he became even more certain that Hung Tien was getting stronger and stronger. Being able to kill two young geniuses of the Situ Huangfu by himself made him want to eliminate Hung Tien even more quickly. At the same time, Hung Tien found another Heaven Origin Stone. He gave half to the pig and used the other half to cultivate. After a period of absorption, Hung Tien successfully broke through to the 6th level of the Chi Pulse realm. He suddenly turned and asked the little pig, "I'm asking you, what is your actual strength? I see that you've eaten more than 10 times the amount of Heaven Origin Stones I've used for cultivation. Aren't you afraid of exploding from the spiritual energy by eating like that?" The little pig explained to Hung Tien while eating, "Look at your inexperienced, simple-minded, and physically developed self. What do you understand? Let alone these low-grade Heaven Origin Stones. Even if it were a 9th-grade Heaven Origin Stone, I would only consider it a snack, not even worthy of being a main course." A moment later, the Situ family members found Hung Tien. One of them pointed at his face and shouted, "Hung Tien, you murdered 3rd brother and 13th brother. Don't even think about running away. Leave your life here." Hung Tien acted very scared, but instead challenged them. "If you're so good, then come at me." The group charged forward enthusiastically. Hung Tien didn't even put them in his eyes. He leaned to one side, then kicked him in the stomach, sending him tumbling. Hung Tien couldn't help but look down on them. They were too weak compared to the genius nickname everyone talked about. They were all at the 6th level of the Chi Pulse realm, but the Jade Spirit Divine art he cultivated was 100 times stronger than that of these geniuses from the Situ Huangfu. This was the difference between a paying player and a free-to-play one. The one Hung Tien had just beaten clutched his bloody head and left, telling his underlings, "You guys stay here and hold him. I'm going to inform Big Brother and Second Sister." Two underlings who didn't know their place charged forward again. Hung Tien raised his sword, ready. He said to the little pig, "Go stop the one who's going to report. I'll take care of these two first." The little pig dashed after the messenger. Its speed was truly astonishing. In just a moment, it caught up and stood, blocking his path. He took the initiative to attack the little pig. With its combat experience, the little pig slipped through his legs, stabbing straight into his firm buttocks, sending him flying into the sky like a firework. At the same time, Hung Tien was also facing two members of the Situ family. Hung Tien flew forward, somersaulting in the air, easily dodging their twin swords. He supported himself on the ground with his hand, and a sharp sword stroke cut off the head of one of them. The remaining one immediately changed his demeanor, his face filled with fear, and he stammered, "Lai Hung Tien, you killed someone from the Situ Huangfu. A commoner like you dares to kill someone from the Situ Huangfu? Who gave you the guts?" Hung Tien didn't even glance at him, stabbing him straight in the right side of his chest. He frowned and retorted, "Only you are allowed to kill me, but I'm not allowed to kill you? Where in the world is there such a principle?" Then he left, running to the little pig's side to help it. But when he arrived, he witnessed a very disturbing scene. The little pig had turned his powerful techniques into something called the Heavenly Demon Chrysanthemum Claw and the Jade Spirit Chrysanthemum Art. The little pig kept playing around, making Hung Tien very anxious, so he finished off the opponent on its behalf. The little pig's fun was cut short, making it very annoyed. It was having a great time. Hung Tien sat down next to the corpse and reminded the pig, "Stop using the names of my divine skills for your silly little tricks. It's disgusting." He looked into the distance and asked the pig, where should the two of them go now? If they hesitated any longer, the people from Situ Huangfu plus Nguyen Chan would arrive, and he was afraid he would not be their match. The little pig pointed towards a cave, suggesting he should go over there. It sensed stronger spiritual energy fluctuations there, and there might be a treasure. Hung Tien placed his full trust in the little pig and went inside with it. Just as he left, Situ Feng's group arrived. Before them were still the 3 corpses of the Situ family. Tu Yin was furious. She even drew her weapon and shouted loudly, "Damn it, 5th, 6th, and 7th brothers have all been killed. Lai Hung Tien, you beast, get out here for me." Nguyen Chan took advantage of Tu Yun's agitated state, pointed towards the cave in front of them, and said, "Miss Yun, Hung Tien must have gone into that cave." His face was full of pride as he stroked his beard and said, although Hung Tien wanted to go in there to escape pursuit, he didn't expect it. He has also become a fish in a barrel. We just need to go in and search, and we will definitely find him, skin him, and pull out his bones. Nguyen Chan's idea made Tu Feng very pleased, but he then suggested that he lead the way, which made Nguyen Chan very bewildered. Tu Feng saw Nguyen Chan's reluctant attitude and said unhappily, "What, you don't agree? Although you don't consider Hung Tien your son, he is still a person from Fengshua City. This time, our Huangfu has lost 5 young geniuses. The wrath of the Huangfu. Be careful, or your Fengshua City will be wiped out." Since Tu Feng had put it that way, Nguyen Chan had no other choice. He replied nervously, "All right, then let this old man go and scout. I also want to kill this rebellious son with my own hands." A moment later, he lit a torch and led the way inside. Dang Du, walking behind him, felt very wronged. He didn't understand why his father was being so tolerant. They were clearly pushing their luck. Nguyen Chan just reminded his son with one sentence. When you're under someone else's roof, you have to bow your head. Actually, I agreed, because there's a treasure inside. Dang Du was stunned by this information. Nguyen Chan took out a token and said to him, "This time, there are a total of 18 iron shards to enter the secret cache, and the one in my hand is the mother shard. The closer this mother shard gets to the treasure in the secret cache, the hotter it will become. Right now, I can feel that the treasure is not far from us. The secret cache being near us is also a benefit for us." At the same time, Hung Tien was getting closer and closer to the treasure. In front of Hung Tien was the Chi Mei Lu leaf fruit, and the fact that this demonic fruit was growing here really surprised him. Moreover, it looked almost mature. But in the little pig's eyes, this thing was just a delicious treat. It just wanted to have a taste. Hung Tien hurriedly grabbed the little pig's tail and reminded it, "Come back. That's a demon fruit. It will make people lose their minds." As soon as Hung Tien finished speaking, something suddenly flashed through his mind, giving him a severe headache, and he then helplessly knelt on the ground. The little pig saw Hung Tien like this and was sure he had been affected. It hurriedly flew over, shouting loudly for Hung Tien to wake up. The little pig's words seemed to have a magical power. Hung Tien immediately came to his senses. He turned his face to look at the pig, telling it not to use such phrases to provoke him. Hung Tien regained his senses and looked up at the Chi Mei Lu leaf fruit. He thought to himself, too domineering. It's worthy of being a legendary item born from the heavenly demon realm. A cultivator with a low cultivation level, like me, was affected in an instant. If it weren't for this pig calling me back to my senses, I'm afraid I would have been in danger today. A moment later, the little pig suddenly saw something. It said to Hung Tien, "It seems there's something good over there." It pointed to the wall next to it, ordering him to quickly break down this stone wall. There would definitely be something good. Hung Tien obediently followed the little pig's words. He gathered his aura and shattered the stone wall. What was behind the stone wall left Hung Tien and the little pig completely stunned. The little pig flew inside, its face full of excitement, its heart blooming with joy. Everything before its eyes was high-grade heaven. Origin stone. Hung Tien stepped inside. The number of heaven origin stones made him feel it was unbelievable. They were all 5th grade, mid to high grade heaven origin stones and above. Something that was hard to find, even a small piece of outside was so abundant here, with heaven origin stones scattered everywhere like trash. He really wanted to know who this secret cache truly belonged to. It was truly astonishing. The little pig hung from a heaven origin stone, munching greedily while telling Hung Tien to hurry. Up and eat. Hung Tien sat down next to the pile of heaven origin stones, thinking about how to take them with him. While absorbing the heaven origin stones, Hung Tien thought of storage ring. Although this item was very rare, he remembered that Dang Ju had one, probably obtained by Nguyen Chan through begging and flattering the Situ, Huangfu, but its storage space was not large. It definitely couldn't hold so many heaven origin stones. Perhaps he would target the young geniuses of the Situ Huangfu. They must have storage rings. An hour later, Nguyen Chan and his son also arrived. The heat from the iron shard in his hand was getting more and more intense. He pointed forward and said to Dang Ju, "The treasure is right ahead. We must get the treasure before the people from the Situ Huangfu." Dang Ju excitedly pointed forward, informing his father, "Father, there is a spirit fruit here. It's very extraordinary, but it looks